Thanks for coming. My name is James Shackelford. I teach in the College of Engineering here at UC Davis. I wasn't going to play that up, but after Cass Sylvia pointed out that Richard Nelson was an engineer, which I didn't know until this day, I thought it would emphasize that. In fact, I think it's an example of the diversity and the richness in the Davis campus, quite frankly. I think it's been one of our strengths for so long that in this campus with agricultural roots and kind of a techie reputation. In fact, it's the most science-based, math-based campus in the UC system, as you may well know. But in that context, we've had this great art department evolve over the years. And of course, the Big Five, or however they are referred to as being a cornerstone of that. I asked to talk about Wayne Thiebaud's coffee cup, and it's interesting, right after Chris's comments about the painting to its left, this is only a 6-year period of time in which clearly Wayne's style had become very distinct and very recognizable, whereas we'd had a little trivia test here before and asked you to identify the painting that Chris talked about as a Wayne Thiebaud. You might well have missed that. But I think this one, the coffee cup, is a perfect example of his style that he became famous for, the pies and cakes. I don't know if you had a chance to see Wayne inducted into the California Hall of Fame, his latest of many, many great honors. He was introduced by no less than Barbra Streisand. I mean, this was definitely major league stuff. And she talked about, of course, the pies and cakes and how he captured the image of ordinary things so well. And even though we don't have any pies or cakes on the wall today, what a perfect accompaniment of a coffee cup. I'm also reminded, it seems to be a day of convergences. I'm always being reminded not to talk about coincidences. That's not part of some people's vocabulary, that perhaps there are no real coincidences. But a lot of convergences today. First of all, finding out that Richard Nelson was an engineer, I thought that was something I'll take away from today. But also, one of Wayne's first major accolades was to be given the National Medal of Art by President Clinton. That was a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. And so we celebrated that on campus. Of course, that's a very major honor. Just a handful of people each year are given that recognition. Then he was inducted with Pete Seeger. So again, he's been traveling in a fast crowd for some time. And so we had a celebration. And what's especially interesting to me is that we had that celebration in this room. I think Larry Vanderhoof was the new chancellor at the time. Robert and Margaret Mondavi came and talked about their vision for a center for art and food and wine, and that now exists. At least 2/3 of that exists. The Art Museum is still in the near future. But part of the convergence on that day was one of the guest speakers was Henry Hopkins, who had recently at that time gone from directing the San Francisco Museum of Art before it became SF MoMA. He had gone down to UCLA where he spent the rest of his career until he passed away just a couple of years ago. And he had an interesting story. Just to close the loop on all these convergences. He talked about many years before, he and some buddies had gone fishing somewhere in the American West. I think it was up in Montana, going along with Randy's comments earlier. But wherever it was, they're driving along and they ended up stopping at a little coffee shop somewhere, had some breakfast, and somehow the conversation got around to the world of art. I guess that's always true with Henry Hopkins involved in the conversation. Turns out the waitress was Wayne Thiebaud's mother. And what he remembered most distinctly was the cup of coffee that she served them. He said, quite frankly, it wasn't very good, but nonetheless, he did remember that. So here we are today, almost 20 years after that conversation, probably 4 or 5 decades since that cup of coffee was served up to Henry Hopkins and his buddies that long ago, and here we are celebrating this wonderful new space. And I suppose also, just to be a little more precise about my own background, being a part of the Chemical Engineering Material Science Department as a materials engineer, my training has been in ceramics, so I guess I have a special affection for a ceramic coffee cup, and maybe it's also kind of a subliminal shout out to Robert Arneson. So in any case, it covers a lot of territory. Thank you.